What do you want to be when you grow up? This was a question that I was asked time and time again as I was growing up. My name is Castillo, and I want to share with you my story. So before I became a digital young entrepreneur, I was just nothing more than your ordinary young student going to college. Now, I just barely graduated from high school, and instead of going into a four-year university, I went into community college because, one, I couldn't afford the tuition to go to a four-year university, and two, I just wasn't really too sure, I wasn't really crystal clear on what I wanted to do with my life. So here I am going to community college, and on top of that, I'm also working a part-time job as a restaurant worker. Now, I remember when I got that job back on Valentine's Day when I was a senior in high school, I thought it was the absolute best thing, earning a paycheck and working all those hours so that I can have that money to spend. But I quickly realized as time went on, as months and years went by, I realized it wasn't really as exciting as I first thought it was. In fact, I learned to resent it. I didn't like the people I was working around. And so what ended up happening was I quit that job. And that left me 2 months without a job because I wanted to get away from that negativity that was going on in the workplace. I just felt like I wasn't truly happy there. So I remember I got another job as a breakfast worker in a hotel, in a Marriott hotel. And I thought this job was going to be better than my last one. It quickly turned out not too long after a few months went in, I realized it was just more of the same. The boss I was working under was not a nice lady. She didn't care about my well-being. She only cared about what was in it for her. And can you relate to that? Do you work for somebody who only cares about themselves and doesn't care about you? So I remember one day, I was not feeling well. I had gotten sick to the stomach. I had a stomach virus. And I had to call out because I wasn't feeling well for a few days, just so that I can focus on resting and recovering. And as soon as I came back to work, the first thing that I got notified about was I got written up, just for calling out. I remember how infuriated, how angry I was to get written up just because I needed to take a few days just to take better care of myself. I mean, what kind of person does that? What kind of person doesn't understand that? Well, that's corporate America for you. So a few months later, my now former friends, discovered a network marketing opportunity. They got so hyped up, they thought it was going to be the absolute best thing ever. They quit their jobs, and they even attempted to recruit me into their business. And here's the thing, I almost joined under them, but after getting off the 3-way coaching call with their coach, I realized something was not right. The opportunity at the time seemed like it was a good one, but it seemed like it was too good to be true. I know my friends were kind of pressuring me to join up with them so that we could be the unstoppable young trio of entrepreneurs going out there to live a fancy lifestyle and change the world. But something in me told me, let's go look around. Let's do your research. And so I did. I went ahead, did my research, and lo and behold, I came across a blog article from a couple in New Jersey that would later become the start of my digital entrepreneurship journey. So I remember reading through this blog article and I got signed up. But here's the thing though. As a 20-and-a-half-year-old at the time that I had completely zeroed out my bank account just to get started. Hell, I even went negative on my bank account just to get started. It was uncomfortable. I remember after I joined, I wasn't too sure if I had made the right decision. I mean, here I was at the time about to finish up community college. And I was just thinking to myself, did I really make the right choice? And I was conflicted. And here I went ahead and I started telling people, started telling my family in particular, even started telling a couple of my friends. They thought I was out of my mind. They didn't support me. They thought I was making the biggest mistake of my life. But I realized at that time I was faced with a decision. Either continue on going to four-year university after I finished my last semester of community college, which I was at the time, or do I just leave the college world for good and start a new journey? I chose the latter. And I remember I got a lot of heat for choosing the latter. Heck, I even remember my mom, my grandma, and my dad having a round table discussion about what should I do with my life. And they all agreed that I should go back to school. They didn't support what I had chosen to do with my life because they thought without a college education, without a college degree, I would have no future. And that's what they saw me as. If I didn't go back to school, get a degree, I would be seen as a failure. A young person with no future. But the irony is, they weren't going to pay for my tuition. I was going to have to shell out at least $30,000 worth of student loans just to get that degree, just to get a job, just to prove to them that I'm successful. I couldn't explain it at the time, but I knew deep down inside of me that wasn't what I wanted. It's not the kind of life that I wanted for myself. So I left school, I left college, and I started digital entrepreneurship. But I'm going to tell you, it was hard. I spent a lot of time learning, and while that learning phase was great, I realized I was struggling so much with coming up with capital. I was broke at the time. The job I was working at the time, I was only earning about $100 a week. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine starting a business and then you have a job right now that's only paying like $100 a week? You can imagine how frustrated I was because I knew I didn't have money. I didn't have money to invest what I needed to do. And more importantly, I realized I was having a lot of mindset issues. So what did I do from here? So a year went by, and then I realized, you know what? I feel like this isn't for me. I almost quit. So I took a year-long hiatus, not working on my business, not doing anything, just nothing. And then I remember just hating my hotel job so much that I went out there and I started looking for another job, hoping that it would pay me more than what my crummy hotel job was. I thought I got a second job when I interviewed at this food place to work as a restaurant worker, and I was excited. I put in my 2-week leave notice at my hotel job, and right when I put my 2-week leave notice and after I left that job for good, I remember getting a phone call from the food place that I was supposed to start a new job at, and they told me they're not going to pick me. I was literally crushed that time. That whole year, this happened in 2017, beginning of that year, I was left 9 months unemployed, without pay, struggling to make ends meet. Now, this sounds very much like you right now. If you're struggling right now, if you got almost no money coming in, I understand how you feel, because it's not too long ago that I was in that position myself. I was struggling to pay off that, very little debt that I had of like about $6,000. I remember just being stressed about it and worried so much because I was just thinking, how am I going to make my bills? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to survive? And I remember after I was going through that, all the friends that I once held close to me left. I soon realized that they didn't really care about me. And when I shared with them what I decided to do with my life, they thought it was great, but they still told me that I should still go to college and that I shouldn't fall for this scam. It was conflicting for me because at the time, I just didn't know what to do. I wanted to build this business. I wanted to be successful, but I just wasn't sure how. And so time went on, and then towards the end of 2017, I realized that's it. Something has got to change. And so I went ahead and I started working on myself. I started doing personal development every single day, watching all the personal development videos that were good, and also reading the right books. And that really changed a lot for me. I started feeling happier. I started feeling like I'm bettering myself every single day. Mentally, I feel good. But I noticed there was still something missing. And so what happened from this point on was I ended up breaking up with my long-distance girlfriend because I realized our relationship wasn't going so well. I remember one day she had called me up and she told me, look, you better have a, good way of presenting yourself to my parents, because, if they find out that you're not in school and you're doing this whole, online business thing, then I don't think it's going to work. And I remember having arguments with her about it, and it just led to one night where I just said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. We're breaking up. And I remember feeling crushed, depressed, lonely. And it wasn't until soon after a few months later, that I started rushing into another long-distance relationship, only to quickly to get my heart broken on a Monday morning, being told that she only played along, she never had the same feelings for me, and she just left me. Just like that. Now that was the absolute low of the low for me. I thought to myself, how can my life go on? How can I be happy? How can I reach my potential as a young digital entrepreneur? What could I do? I remember just walking one morning and just sitting down on a sidewalk and just burying my head in my legs and just crying. It was emotional for me. I didn't know what to do. But then I toughened up and I realized, you know what? I gotta stop this. I gotta stop feeling sorry for myself. I can push through this, because if somebody out there that's in far worse circumstances can push through and still make it out in the end, you can too. And that's when that fire ignited in me. I realized I was determined. I realized I am seeing this all the way through until the finish, until I get to the top. And I'm not stopping. So what did I do? I went ahead, I invested into coaching and mentorship with my coaches. I changed my daily lifestyle altogether, having gone from being massively overweight to 40 pounds slimmer, looking and feeling great. My mental health has been a lot better because I've been doing personal development daily, reading the right books and listening to the right audios, watching the right videos. And now I'm generating leads and sales in my business, and I'm building my list. It's my vision to work my way to the top in this business so I can have complete freedom, to be able to give myself the things and the experiences that I know I deserve, and so that I can do the same for my loved ones. I want to be able to be fully independent, being able to go out there, survive financially, and to be able to truly stand on my own 2 feet without having to rely on family to do things for me. And most importantly, I want to use my wealth to give back to the community around me. I have been helping out people during this world crisis currently going on right now, and seeing how much of an impact that it has made to them. I want to be able to do more of that. I want to be able to go out there and educate people about their mindset, about the importance of personal development, showing them what's possible, and that they can empower themselves to do the same with their lives. This is Mark Castillo here. I appreciate you stopping by and listening to my story today. And hey, if you're watching this video right now, here's what I want you to do. There will be a link directly below this video. I want you to click on it, lock arms with me, and come join me along on this journey, because this is a journey worth taking. And if you're watching this from Facebook, send me a message over Messenger, and we'll have a nice conversation about all the details. So, with that said, this is Mark Castillo here. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video today. I hope you have an amazing day. I can't wait to hear from you soon. Take care.